What's up guys, Perry from Rockville here, and today I'm going to show you how to set up your HP65S-8 black speakers to your home receiver. So now that we've got our speakers all set up to our wall here, let's talk about how to set it up to our receiver. Now these speakers are 4 ohm, which means they would work with any standard 4 ohm receiver like this one here. So if you set up one speaker to the left channel and one speaker to the right channel, that's a perfect match for impedance. But one thing you don't want to do is set up 2 speakers for the left and right channels, because that would bring the impedance to 2 ohms, which could risk damaging your speakers and or receiver. But if you do happen to have a 2 ohm stereo receiver, you can do 2 speakers per left and right channel and parallel wire them to connect to your receiver. So with that out of the way, let's connect our speakers to our receiver. To do that, we're going to take the included speaker wire that came with our speakers, and we're going to want to set them up to the positive and negative terminals on the back of our speakers and the positive and negative terminals on the back of our receiver. So we're going to loosen up our mounting bracket just a little bit here so that we have access to the positive and negative terminals on the back of our speakers. Next, we'll take our speaker wire, and the cool thing about these terminals is that you can push them to open up the terminals to feed your speaker wire. So when we take our speaker wire here, we're gonna push down on the positive and the negative terminal, feed our speaker wire through the holes here, and again, you wanna match the red positive to the positive terminal and the black negative to the negative terminal. If you want, you can use the hole here at the bottom of the bracket to keep your speaker wire more organized. You can also make an additional hole behind your speaker by using the middle hole here of your bracket, for example, to run your speaker wire through there instead for a nice organized setup. So once we have our speaker wire set up to our speakers, we're gonna take the other ends and plug them into the positive and negative terminals here on the back of our receiver. Now there is a way we can set up 2 speakers per left and right channel because these are 8 ohm speakers, so let's dive into that next. So because these are 8 ohm speakers, we also have an option to wire them in parallel to a 4 ohm load to run to our 4 ohm receiver. I just took these speakers down from the wall brackets just to show you how to do the wiring. For this setup, you're gonna need 2 sets of speaker wire, one to connect the 2 speakers together, and then another one to run from your second speaker to your receiver. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take 1 set of speaker wire and run them to the red and black positive and negative terminals here on my first speaker all the way at the end. Then I'll take the other end and plug it into the terminals of my second speaker, but there is something we can do to make the wiring from our second speaker into our receiver much easier. You can take one end of the second set of your speaker wire and connect the red wires and the black wires. So just like this, I'm gonna take the ends of my red wires here and twist them together like so. Then I'm gonna do the same exact thing for my black wires here. So these joined ends together are going to go to my second speaker here. So I can take the red wires and plug them into the red positive terminal and plug the black wires into the black negative terminal. Then from here, I can take the other end of my second set of speaker wire and plug them into the positive and negative terminals on one channel on my receiver. So to recap what we did, we took one of our speaker wire, plugged it into our first speaker at the end. We then took the other end of the first set of speaker wire and combined it with the end of our second set of speaker wire, connected those combined ends into our second speaker here, then took the other end of our second set of speaker wire and plugged it into one of the channels here on the receiver. Again, remember when doing this with 2 8 ohm speakers, you get a final load of 4 ohms, which matches perfectly with a channel on our 4 ohm receiver. Keep in mind, you can still do this while you have your speakers mounted to your wall, but just remember to do the parallel wiring. That's the most important step, whether you're running the speaker wire from inside of the wall or outside of the wall. Now keep in mind, you can set up 2 of these speakers for the left and right channel, but for this demo, I'm just gonna set up 1 speaker per channel. So now that the speakers are all set up to your receiver, we can go ahead and play some music to hear how they sound. Wow, sounds great. A lot of bass, which is nice. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So hopefully this showed you guys how easy it is to set up your HP65S-8 black speakers to your receiver. But of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support team through phone or email. As always, I'm Perry from Rockville, and we'll see you guys next time.